Chelsea 3, West Ham nil. As you guys can see right above my head there, you can see the score right there with everything. Chelsea might actually be good. Maybe Chelsea are good. Maybe I am a hater. I don't know. But we're going to analyze this game. We're going to talk about this game. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Don Husam. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. If you're yet to do so, please do like the video. Please do subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on that game we just watched in the comment section down below. And listen, Chelsea win the game. And look, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to talk about. First and foremost, I am going to say Chelsea deserved to win today's game. Massive credit has to go to personally who I think was the best player in that game, and that's Nicholas Jackson. Listen, Nicholas Jackson is one of those players that this season a lot of opinions will be made on him. This is just the reality of the situation. Nicholas Jackson this season, many people will either say, okay, we were wrong, you're actually good, or many people will say, okay, we were right, you're actually not good. And this season, look, if he continues on this form, I mean, currently he's scoring goals, he's getting assists, he's getting his teammates involved. Everything is going in the direction that Nicholas Jackson would want it this season. If he continues on this form, then he will be a dangerous striker in this English Premier League. I mean, he's scoring goals. He's getting involved in the game. We already know as a footballer, he's good technically. He's a good technician as well. So that's something that, we have to keep in mind. I don't think Jackson, personally, I wasn't really one of those people who said Jackson is like a horrible player or any of that type of stuff. Like, I think he's just an okay player that's in the middle. But this season, he might prove a lot of people wrong. The people who doubted Nicholas Jackson, the people who said that he's not good enough, etc., etc., etc. So that's the thing. Cole Palmer scores once again. I am one of those people who said that Cole Palmer will not get as many GA in this Maresca system, and I stick by that opinion. And this is not because Maresca is a bad manager or Cole Palmer is going to fall off. None of that stuff. It's just style and systems. I mean, Palmer was given the keys last season under Pochettino. Now this season, he isn't given the keys. Now it's about the team, and it's about the team effort, and it's about all that type of stuff. So that's why this season, I think it might be a little bit different. But he does get a goal today. And obviously, that was a fantastic finish. And I'll be honest with you. Listen, Chelsea on the counter-attack could have scored 4 or 5. Like, I want to sit up here and hate. I want to sit up here and say all this stuff. But Chelsea could have scored 4 or 5 goals today. Easily, if they fixed up their counterattacks, if they learned how to finish properly, they could have scored easily 4 or 5 goals. But they're unable to score 4 or 5 goals, because Madueke isn't as good as Palmer, Neto isn't as good as Palmer, Joao Felix isn't as good as Jackson. So maybe this is something for Chelsea fans to look at going forward into the future. The fact that, these players maybe on the bench aren't as good as the starters, which might affect them negatively if someone gets injured, God forbid, or there's something like that happens. So, yeah. And I think from a Chelsea perspective as well, one of the most important things today is they did keep a clean sheet. They kept a clean sheet, and continuity and stability is important in football. And the fact that, once again, they went with the same partnership, Colwell Adebayo, sorry, played in today's game. Fofana was there as well. So Colwell and Fofana do have that continuity as a double, like as a partnership, as a defensive pairing is important going forward. And look, Chelsea win the game. Chelsea have done well. There is nothing negative to say about Chelsea today, but there is negatives to say about West Ham, because West Ham are crap. And I'm one of the people that when I was doing my predictions, I put West Ham really low down the table, because I said you're giving all these ingredients to a wrong chef. I mean, you signed Todibo, and Todibo is on the bench for Mavropanos. Lead judges, Troops, and DT were ranting about Mavropanos like 10 years ago, and he's starting, ahead of Jean-Claire Todibo. You've got Suchek on the bench. You've got Soler on the bench. You've got Antonio on the bench. And the reason why I say I've got Antonio, it's not even that Antonio's a good player. I'm simply talking, I'm not even going to waffle or be a hater or any of that. You're spamming crosses into Jared Bowen, who's about 5'2". How are you spamming crosses into Jared Bowen? Make it make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I'm not a football manager. I'm not a coach. I don't have a UEFA B license. But I'm just talking purely just from a logical perspective. Pure logic. How on earth do you spam crosses into Jared Bowen, who's about 5'2", against Adebayo, against Fofana, against Colwell? It just will not work. That's why you needed Antonio from the start, or a striker, stuff like this. I have no idea what Lopetegui is doing, and I think he's going to be one of the managers that gets sacked, and rightfully so, because West Ham are not cooking. West Ham will not cook with this manager. West Ham will not cook because they have good players like Guido Rodriguez. Somerville is good for their level. By the way, all the Liverpool fans wanted Somerville in the summer. Feel ashamed of yourself. He like I'm barely saying he's good for West Ham. I'm barely saying he's good for even West Ham. You know, Kudus is there, Bowen is there. It's all good players, and you have to find a way to make it work. And this is definitely not making it work. You know, this is definitely not making it work. But anyway, Chelsea are a top 4 contender. Chelsea are a top 4 contender alongside Spurs, alongside Man United, alongside Newcastle, you know, possibly Aston Villa as well. You know, with the Champions League, maybe it will be difficult for them. But those are the sides that, you know, Chelsea would be looking to compete with. And look, so far for them, so good. They have one draw, they have one loss, but they've got 3 wins. You know, so that is probably one of the better starts to the season. 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. If they keep going on this trajectory, then they should be able to get top 4 with ease this season. You know, but we will see what happens when the Conference League kicks in, when all that type of stuff happens. Maybe things do change. Maybe things do change. Maybe this affects them negatively, dependent on who they play in the Conference League. Does he play the starters? Does he not? I mean, Enzo Maresca is a Pep Guardiola disciple, so he might decide to play the starters in the Conference League. He might decide to play, you know, players who are important, and you never know through injuries and stuff like that. But so far for Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea fans have anything to complain about. Their only loss came against Manchester City. The Crystal Palace draw at home was obviously a disappointing result, and rightfully so. But look, Chelsea might actually be a good side. Chelsea maybe actually be a good side, and maybe I am underrating some of these players. One player I want to give massive credit to is Moises Caicedo. I was one of the people, listen, some people say, oh, you're a Chelsea hater, you're just jealous, this, jealous, that, blah, blah, blah. You say the same stuff. Please don't be a bot, you guys, please. I said in the Carefree Lewis chat, you know, before I even started my own watch along, I said, listen, Caicedo will cook today. And he cooked, even getting the assist. And it's not even about just getting the assist. It's the fact that the guy is everywhere in a good way. Like sometimes you see him in the 6, sometimes you see him in the 8, sometimes you see him in the 10, and he's just getting involved in every positive fashion, you know, in terms of like helping out the team, helping out the squad, all that type of stuff. And I think this is the thing that, you know, for me, I look at Chelsea, and I think going forward, you have to rely on your best players to deliver. You have to rely on the best players to turn up. Today, Caicedo turned up. Today, Palmer turned up. And they needed someone to turn up alongside them, and Nicholas Jackson turned up. So they just need someone to turn up alongside them. And the thing that Chelsea need to take moving forward as well, one of the most important things is keeping the sheet is 0 right next to West Ham here. This keeping the clean sheet. This is one of the most important things. But listen, massive credit to Chelsea, as much as it pains me to say it, because I grew up on Benitez Mourinho, so obviously I hate Chelsea. But massive credit to them. They played well. They won the game 3-0. And yeah, big up for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you in